Hi everybody, it's Amy from Making Space. I hope you're well. Today I've got a really simple sewing hack for you, inspired by our Textile Transformation project, which is all about encouraging people to reuse, repair, recycle their textiles and sort of fashion garments rather than sort of throwing them away. And today we're going to be looking at how to repair a seam. This is something that happens all the time on clothes. A side seam will go, and if you're not quite sure how to sort of repair it, or you've not got a sewing machine and you think, oh, I can't do that, then you might just end up throwing the garment away, which is a real waste. So I'm going to show you a really simple hand stitching method, so you don't need any tools. All you need is a pair of scissors, a needle and thread, and the garment that you're repairing. And that's it. It's really simple, and I'll talk you through it. Now, today I'm going to be using a thread in a very contrasting colour so it shows up on the video. But normally try and get something that's similar to the garment that you're repairing. Excuse me. And it's so the stitch we're going to be using has got a few different names. You might have heard it be called a ladder stitch, an invisible stitch, or a blind stitch. They're pretty much all the same thing. And it's also good for repairing things like cushions if you can't maybe turn it inside out easily, because you're going to be stitching from the outside edge. So we're not going to be turning it inside out, we're going to stitch from the outside. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to thread your needle. Now I'm using embroidery thread as well because it's a bit thicker and it will show up on the video. But normally a doubled over sort of normal cotton that you find in sewing garments would be fine as well. So thread your needle like so, and then what you want to do is in the other end you want to tie a knot. Okay, and that's just going to secure your thread and stop it from kind of falling out when you start. So let's move those out of the way, and I'll try and keep this in the middle so you can see. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to lose or hide this knot on the inside. So you can see I'm going to repair this seam on these jeans, and I'm going to be joining these edges here. And actually I've chosen the jeans as well because where they're faded on the outside, it's really easy to see where I need to stitch. So first of all, we're going to come up from the inside to that outside edge. Okay, and like I said, that will lose that knot on the inside, so once we carry on we seal it all up, you won't be able to see it. If you're using thinner thread, you can always tie a knot in there as well. Now I think the ladder stitch is the way that I quite like it described, because that's the way we're going to stitch. We're going to come across, you're going to come up, you're going to go across, you're going to come up, like so, the whole way. So from that starting point, you're going to come across to the other side. And then can you see I'm poking the needle on the inside of that top seam and pull it through. Okay. Now we're going to come across this side, put the needle in, make sure it stays in between the sort of two layers of the fabric. So you've got the outside layer and then you've got the hem on the inside. Okay, and that's it. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to do that all the way up. So you're going to come across. Now try and keep your stitches parallel, so you can see this one here will match up with here. That's going to help it keep it straight when you kind of pull tight at the end. And also try and keep your stitch lengths the same. That's also going to help you create a nice flat smooth seam as well. But regards to the method, it's so simple. You don't need to be, you know, good at sewing at all, because it's really that simple. And you can just keep checking, you know, pushing your seams together, checking where you're coming from to where you're going to matches up. Okay, and you just keep repeating that. Now obviously you can pull tight as you go along, but to show you the effect, I'm going to leave it to the end to pull tight, so you can see how the stitches kind of close up on me. Oops, sorry, knocked the camera there. So just keep repeating the process the whole way along. So you can see why it's called a ladder stick when it looks like this, because it looks like the rungs, the sort of steps in a ladder as it comes across. And we just keep going and repeating this process all the way along. Until we get to the top. Okay, so you can really see how we're joining it up, but you can't see the stitches from the outside because we're coming onto this inside edge. Okay, and we're nearly there. So a few more stitches and we'll be at the end. Now, I've probably made my stitches a little bit bigger than you would if you were doing this at home, just for kind of quick demo purposes, but you'll see when I pull it tight at the end it still works. You can always just pull the tail end just a little bit further through if you feel it's getting a bit short. Okay, so let's just go to there and to the top. Okay, so it's all stitched up now. So now this is the fun part. What you can do now is if you pull, you'll see, oh, let's make sure that's in focus because it's a and you'll see it fastens it all up. And you can just make sure it's pulled really nice and tight. Now you don't want to pull so tight that it ruches. You can see it just did it there. So just pull it until it's all closed up and nice and flat. And then all you want to do is you want to do a knot. So you're going to try and do this right in the seam. And obviously again, this is why you'd use a thread that kind of matches the garment or the kind of textile that you're repairing. And you can see that will just knot it up. Alternatively, if you can turn the garment inside out here and do it from the inside out. And then what you can do is you can just sort of poke that under and through till it leaves the tail end. Snip it off. Stretch back out. And there you go. You've got a repaired seam. So, you know, if you've got something at home that you're not wearing or you're considering just throwing out because it's got a seam that's kind of burst open, this shows how easy it was to do it. I mean, that's taken me 5 minutes or so. And obviously you will get a smoother, flatter finish if you were using a thinner cotton and you did your stitches a little bit smaller as well. But you know, that means you can wear it again, which is great. So I hope that you've enjoyed that little tutorial. I hope you have a go at repairing some items at home. And yeah, we'll be back with another activity suggestion for you soon. Cool. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.